What is your promise? Why are you in business? How do you expect to grow?
This is The Hook, a show focused on branding, marketing, and business development.
You brand to inspire, not to sell.
Jason Arcemont, the marketing maverick, gives expertise to business owners, serial entrepreneurs, and anyone interested in building a stronger company brand.
Creating a brand is like telling a story. You've got one shot to say it all.
When your marketing works, you've got them on the hook.
You are listening to The Hook Radio, always online, thehookradio.com. My name is Josh Reno, and if you don't know already, this is a business solution for your everyday marketing, branding, social media needs that you have with your business. And I am the marketing strategist over at Brightbox Brand Marketing. This is my boss with me. We call him the marketing maverick, Jason Arcemont. Why are you laughing at that? I mean, you get this is
No, I laugh more that you feel like this is my boss. You have to give the formal roles, I mean, I appreciate it, but
I feel like I get points. Maybe if I like kiss up on the radio enough, that it'll get me good.
It's adding up. It's adding up.
I hope so. Now, we've been doing this show for what, 3 months now?
Yeah, I guess this is our 12th show.
So we should really explain what we are. We are The Hook, but why are we named The Hook?
Yeah, The Hook started quite some time ago in my career. I really felt like The Hook was a moment in time. I grew up doing sales, and I felt like from sales, certain things converted over into marketing. And see, there's this moment in time when companies are trying to communicate their message and trying to get the audience members to engage. There's a moment in time where all of a sudden they have them, right? They've hooked the audience. They've hooked the consumer into at least engaging or buying the product. And I just love that moment. I found that in sales early on in my career as a sales guy. And I saw it kind of transfer over into the marketing world, that when marketing done right, when the video, the ad campaign, the brochure, whatever it is, it can truly hook the audience member, the consumer. And, I'm passionate about that. I'm passionate about sharing that. I'm passionate about helping people grow their business. And that's what the show is all about, helping companies find their hook, or at least capitalize on the opportunities to hook their consumers.
And we really want to help you. That's why we say join our newsletter, and also check us out on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter. We're on Facebook.
Yeah.
We're on stuff that I didn't even realize. Are we on Tinder? Can you do that?
Not on Tinder. But
okay. Maybe not on Tinder.
Yeah.
We've also been talking about the holidays really catching up to us. And the one thing about this time of year is that whenever the holidays come around, people are in shutdown mode, which means that if you do own a business, this is the time for you to capitalize and really be active, because your competitors probably aren't right now.
Yeah, it just seems like the whole world starts shutting down. And I get it. It's the holidays. Everybody wants to take a deep breath and just kind of like unplug. But, I've seen guys take off and gals take off from, Thanksgiving through the New Year. I mean, when you add that up, that's like 10%, almost 8% of your year. Like, that's 8% of your potential success, 8% of your potential sales, your revenue. Like, you can't just throw that away. This is really a time to at least get active on the internal stuff of your organization. If you go back and check some of the previous podcasts, we've talked about that. But man, it drives me crazy. This time of year is for somebody that's like always trying to do something. It's so frustrating for me to see everybody just slow down.
I don't know if you know this, but if you take off weekends and all holidays, that's a third of the year that you are throwing out the window.
Right. So right there, you're already getting a third of your time off. 30%, right? 33.
Pretty much. And just thinking you can get by with sending out a Christmas card, probably not going to work, because that's not being active.
Yeah.
That's not really doing anything. It's putting a card in front of somebody's face and saying, hey, we're here. Thanks for working with us. But you're not really utilizing that time that you have a captive audience.
Yeah. I just push, from a business standpoint, not even marketing related. I just continue to push for meetings. I continue to push for engagement and interaction from our clients, and up through and up close to the holiday. I mean, for me, I'm just not going to let a week go by where I don't get some progress towards my goals and towards what it is I'm trying to do, both personally and professionally. I can't imagine taking a month off of my life and allowing things to just coast by. It's just not my nature.
I must mention this too. We're brought to you by The Work Lodge. And The Work Lodge, you've heard us talk about over and over and over. What a fantastic place. If you're looking for a place to get your business into, like your small business or just a shared workspace for you, the Work Lodge is a place to be.
Oh, absolutely. We've talked about it, like I said, 100 times before, but truly a unique atmosphere. It's not like these other kind of shared workspace places that kind of feel overly corporate, make you feel like you're working in a bank or something or a library. This is a truly unique, one-of-a-kind environment where you can collaborate with like-minded individuals. They have a lot of entrepreneurial-minded folks there. I mean, it's almost like an incubator. Mike Thacker, the owner of the Work Lodge, is just big in investing in entrepreneurism and helping small businesses grow. And they do different events every month, to help for social media, for branding. We were out there doing an event last month. It's just a phenomenal place. So if you want a place you can be proud of, a place you can invite, customers to come in and not feel like you're working out of your basement.
It's not a sterile atmosphere
at all. It's very inspiring. It's a really, really cool place. And we appreciate the Work Lodge being big supporters of the show. And, check them out online at theworklodge.com. They're on Facebook. They do a good job with their social media. That's what we're going to be talking about today.
Absolutely. Social media is such a big thing. And a lot of times it's not utilized to its fullest, because whenever you have social media, it doesn't just mean that you're on one channel. Basically, you're not just on Facebook. You're not doing social media if you're just on Facebook or Twitter or whatever it might be.
Yeah, you
have to really capitalize on all aspects, because they play into your Google Analytics. Which
well, and it's true. You if you're going to do social media at the best of best levels, you need to be on multiple different channels, right? Multiple different platforms. But I have a feeling most people, and probably a lot of you listening, are, when it comes to social media, you kind of scratch your head. You're like, I've made some posts on my Facebook. I'm not seeing a lot of interaction. I know our clients always ask things like, where or how should we participate? Should we even be on social media? I mean, I get that one probably more than anything. Do we even need to do social media? What do we say once we get on there? And how can we be relevant? I mean, that's really what it's all about. You're on social media. You're basically, it's like a digital, social environment, like sitting at a bar or sitting at a restaurant, you're talking to people. How are we relevant? How do we start conversation? How do we get people engaged with us? And it's tough. And so we're going to dissect that today a little bit. And one of probably the best things to start with is explaining there's kind of two different purposes for social media. For those of you in the B2B world and maybe consumer, but you're not on social media yet, think about it this way. So social media is great to help with your SEO efforts. Josh was alluding to that. And what it does, or how it does that, is that by posting on social platforms like Facebook or YouTube, Twitter, Google deems those as very credible sources of information, very credible sources of content. And the more that you post on there, the more relevant you become. And the more relevant you are, the higher your ranking can become. So having social media content on there, even if you're not getting a lot of interaction, I'm not converting leads. That's what I always hear. I'm not getting anybody engaging with me or wanting to buy my services. Well, maybe not. But just keep in mind the impact that it can have on your SEO, especially if you're linking your website back in there. I don't know if you've had some success on your side with that, Josh, from an SEO standpoint.
Yeah, really. What people don't consider is that Google Plus and YouTube, they're owned by Google,
yeah,
which helps your ranking. And whenever Jason talks about SEO, that's your search engine optimization. And what happens is the more content, the more fresh content that you have, and the more that you update what you're doing, whether it be by social media or on the website itself, it brings up your ranking. So whenever you're doing a Google search, you'll come up higher in the ranking.
Right.
Whenever you do that.
Good example. So go search, just for if you're completely new to social media, go search Jason Arcemont. Jason, Arcemont. And you'll see I've got a website. It links to Brightbox. It links to all my other companies. But probably close up there to the top are going to be either my LinkedIn posts, my Facebook posts, or my Twitter posts. And those are all, like I said, Google sees those as extremely credible because it's just free, open access to content and opinion. And they like to put those at the top of the ranking. So the more of those that you do, the more that you'll be ranking at the top with your competitors. So that's the one kind of big hidden or secret thing that I think a lot of people miss when it comes to social media. The other is kind of the obvious. The second part to social media is that it's actually drawing traffic. You're engaging with prospective buyers or existing buyers. You're trying to convert them to a CTA or a call to action to engage again with your product or to refer you or to get to the website, whatever it may be. And that's kind of where the real secret sauce comes in, right, is how to do that. I think there's a lot of brands, a lot of products that do that naturally really well, especially in the consumer space. And then there's companies like, I don't know, us, marketing firms, a lot of the B2B guys. It's tough. It's tough to get on social media and to be relevant and to be hip and to be somewhere where people want to tune in and check out what you have to say as you're talking about your subsea, monitoring system or something.
That's right.
So you got to keep that in mind, that there's two different realms, so to speak, of social media. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the next segment.
I actually want to talk about why you should have your own YouTube account, because I ran into this with one of my clients this past week. So we'll talk about that coming up, and we'll have more from Jason Arcemont. He's the Marketing Maverick. I'm Josh Reno. On the way next, more of The Hook. We got you right back here on The Hook. My name is Josh Reno with Brightbox Brand Marketing, along with Jason Arcemont, the Marketing Maverick. And, well, we've been talking about it over and over and over, social media and what it means to you and why you should use it to the best of your abilities. And we'll get into that more in just a few minutes. But first, I want to talk about our sponsor, OnToBox Training, which you have a little bit of experience with.
Yeah, I date back to the inception.
Oh, that's right. You do the OnToBox Training.
It's another box company. Yes, this was a company that basically was bred out of our clients asking us to help train them in certain areas. Obviously, we do a lot of marketing consulting as well as just kind of business consulting. And what I found is that clients were coming back and asking us, hey, how can we do a better job of managing our own social media? Well, our marketing firm doesn't really have interest in wanting to do that because we do social media for our clients. But, hey, we could maybe start another company that could help do that training for clients. And so, if you find yourself not really ready to commit to, maybe hiring a marketing firm to implement your social media or to do some of these other kind of corporate process activities, check out ontoboxtraining.com. We do a lot of online webinars. We're posting more and more every month. We also do, process flow or workflow consulting, sales management training, digital sales training, as well as face-to-face. I mean, there's just a wealth of knowledge and resource on that website. You guys can go and check out and engage with us. Contact OnToBox Training if you're looking to, just kind of up your game in a certain department or area or aspect of your business.
And I know that my client, PFP, whenever we went out there, PFP Industries is one of the clients that we work with. And they were very interested in getting a training for LinkedIn. So Daniel, who is your partner in this endeavor, Daniel came out there, walked them through how to set up your LinkedIn profile, because LinkedIn is just a business. That's a business social media. So you want to make sure that you stay away from a lot of the things that you see on Twitter or Facebook. And so he walked everybody through it, helped them build their profiles. Yeah. It was very valuable for that company.
Yeah, help show them how to build a profile as well as how to use it once you do it. There's a lot of cool tips and tricks within LinkedIn as far as identifying your target audience, how to get to know them before you show up so you look like you've done your homework. It's just a really cool platform. And yeah, Dana was able to go out there, and I don't think it was even a big group. I think that's something our listeners, you don't have to be a large organization to be able to afford a corporate training team like OnToBox. I think they had maybe 4 or 5 sales guys. We came out and did a one-on-one training session, took a couple hours. It was extremely affordable. And, there's no doubt that they were being able to see the ROI on those dollars spent, and the effectiveness of what the sales guys are able to do in pulling in leads and communication with their audience.
The good thing about LinkedIn is that you can see the insights. You get feedback on whenever you post something. And we'll talk about LinkedIn more in just a few minutes, but really get into social media. What's the most important part whenever you talk to a client? Whenever you say, okay, you should be involved in social media? Well,
what platform should I be on? Yeah. Where or how do I participate? And I think this is something if you're new to social media, take a step back for just a minute before you start trying to figure out exactly where and just jumping on every single platform you can and making posts and comments. Really step back and I encourage you to go join a couple different social platforms with a personal account. and just monitor. Maybe even take a month to just monitor the types of information that are shared. Look for your competitors on social media, see what they're sharing, see if they're getting much engagement on any of their posts. Are they running contests? Are they just putting out information? Are they doing white papers? And just take a month to just really get on social media, pick 3 or 4, 5 of them, and just kind of surf around and see what other people are posting, what seems to be effective. A couple key indicators on what is working is if their posts are being shared. You can see that, especially on Facebook, how many shares their post got, if it's getting a lot of likes, and if people are commenting. And just about all of the platforms have some element of those 3 ways to engage. And so, the more of those that post has, the more effective it is. So monitor what your competition doing, monitor what's happening on those platforms, make notes on what's getting the highest rates of engagement, right?
And what would you say would be the reason to go to something like a Google Plus? We talked about we're going to kind of touch on each one of the social medias, but Google Plus, what do you think is like a key factor of why someone would want to use that one?
I think, Google Plus shouldn't even really be should you or shouldn't you. Google Plus and Google Maps, in my opinion, are like the absolute basics, because you can gain a lot of leverage from those platforms without even really engaging on them. You need to set them up, go through, fill out the profiles, make sure you have, your right sized logo in there and on the profile pic, and put all the information about your organization. On Google Plus, I'm laughing because Josh had made a post earlier and was struggling with these logos, and it can actually be tough to make sure that the logo or your image size is the right size according to some of these platforms. So, and
I'm glad that I have Jorge in our design department to where he can resize the images for me, because I tried for like 30 minutes. That's not my thing.
Yeah. So, well, Mario Paint doesn't exist anymore, so that was about the extent of my my creative execution was back when I was a kid on Mario Paint.
Wow.
Yeah, throwing it back. But yeah, so back to the basics. You've got to at least start with having a Google Plus profile and a Google Map profile. These are 2 extremely crucial parts to Google searches. The algorithm they use is searching, do you have a physical location? It'll pull it up right there on the site or on the search queue. And do you have a Google Plus, platform, basically? So that's the absolute basics. So just fill those in. You don't necessarily have to worry about engaging a lot with either one of those, but it is a solid foundation. And then once you've done your monitoring, then you need to pick which platform. You need to decide who the target audience really is. Who is it that we're going after? You got to be extremely specific. With this show, we're targeting you, the entrepreneur, the business owner, the person responsible for helping to grow your business. So you might be a subset of that and be a marketing person or somebody in the business development department or salesperson, but we are looking for those people who want information on how to grow their business. So when we're on social media, we're very specific about the content and the information that we give you. And, on the B2B side, we're already talking about LinkedIn. That's a huge platform. If you guys are not taking advantage of LinkedIn, you've got to jump on there and flesh that out. I think we even did a whole segment on LinkedIn alone once, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. And just to reiterate some of that, and sometimes we run into the same thing where we forget to do the things that we say to do. Like this past week, we were talking about how we do the hook episodes, and we push them out with an email blast. And I told Jason, I said, hey, we need to do that in a way that we can share them on LinkedIn too. Once we shared on LinkedIn, how many eyes got onto that afterwards? A ton of people.
Just expanded.
Because you put it on your LinkedIn page, I shared it, and so people saw it that I'm connected with on LinkedIn. So you also get those kind of some metrics, and not the full metrics if you're doing the free version, but you get some of the metrics. Who looked at it? Did they click through? Those are good things to know with LinkedIn. And again, it's professional. It's a professional profile. It's not where you post pictures of you at the zoo or, unless you work at the zoo. My buddy Hunter Green works at the zoo.
He's lucky. He lucked out, man.
Yeah.
He gets to do cooler posts.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is. And that's a thing, too, to keep in mind. On LinkedIn, it's a professional platform, so your profile needs to be done professionally. If you're not a good writer, get somebody to look at it. Make sure that everything is filled out very well, and it's kind of like a resume.
Mm-hmm.
The next big one, obviously, is Facebook. It's a little bit more of a casual platform. It allows you to share whether it be comments, pictures, videos. There's a large mass group of audience there. Even those in the B2B world, they're probably on there personally. And Facebook gets a really good SEO conversion as well. So keep that in mind. The next one, which I think a lot of clients struggle with, is Twitter. It requires that you be a little bit more. It's like a news board, so to speak. And so your posts are limited to how long they can be as far as the number of characters or words that are in the post. And so you're probably better off sharing articles or writing a blog post and sharing that blog post on there. But it's a tough one, I think, for clients. I know you've run into that before with clients just saying, we don't know what to do on here.
Yeah, how do we use the Twitter?
The Twitter.
Once they say that, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, we're in trouble.
All righty.
Yeah. So keep that in mind, and again, if you're not 100% sure, get on Twitter, get you a personal account, start following some of your competition, other industry leaders within your market space, and see what it is that they're posting, see what's getting shared, see how people are engaging. It might not be the right platform for you. If your image is very visually driven, if you can take images or, you have a product focused type of a market, check out Instagram and Pinterest. Those are both kind of photo library sharing platforms that work great for those who have a very visual product offering.
A good example of that is one of our clients, Agile Office, which they build modular interiors to buildings like for Conoco or Philips, or they do a lot of
Even
different
small
places.
Guys, yeah,
even small on the small side too. But their work is absolutely amazing. What they
stunning,
do,
yeah.
They'll bring in like different components, and it can be like a 6-pack of offices. And the next day, over 24 hours, they can redesign it to where they use all of the same components, nothing extra, and it's a conference room after that.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty cool stuff.
They show how they can do that, and Instagram and Pinterest, perfect for them.
Right. Now, what they have to deem first is to also make sure that their competition, the other industry folks are on there, because if your audience isn't there, it may be great for you, but if the audience isn't there, it's going to be tough. And then the visual stuff leads to this last one that I want to talk about briefly, which is obviously YouTube is our video guys. This one has gained so much credibility because YouTube was acquired by Google a while back, so YouTube gets unbelievable ranking. So I strongly recommend take a look at YouTube, see what's being put on there. If you have questions about strategically how to make decent video, always hit us up at thehookradio.com. I'd love to give you some insight and feedback on that.
And tag it. I will say this, that I had a client this past week that they had their YouTube videos under one of their employees and not their actual business.
Yeah.
Can't do that. Make your own business profile and go from there. All right, we're going to talk more coming up next. Got to take a little break. We're back with The Hook. Jason Arcemont, the Marketing Maverick, and I'm Josh Reno. HookRadio.com.
It sits above the mantle on a couple
You're listening to The Hook. We're talking about branding and marketing and business overall, social media, how it plays into it. Josh Reno here along with Jason Arcemont, the Marketing Maverick. TheHookRadio.com is where you can find us. And whenever you go to TheHookRadio.com, all of our old episodes are there. The podcast, you can pick it up from there. You can sign up for the newsletter. If you have any questions for us, we love to get questions so we can address those on the air. And it's brought to you by Brightbox Brand Marketing right now. I mean, I work there. I think it's a cool place.
It's a great place, man. Yeah, Brightbox is our brand marketing company. This is the first of several companies that I started within the Box families. This is where my background, my passion has been in marketing and business development. And so we are a full-service brand marketing firm. And what that means to me, whenever we first started this company and still to this day, is that I wanted to be able to control a brand from A to Z. I want to be able to do everything under one roof without having to outsource. See, I found that in other agencies where I worked in the past, the more you outsourced to freelancers and brought in different people, you started kind of diluting the messaging, the strategy. Some of the visual components didn't match up just right. And so my goal was to have everything from marketing strategy to web development, graphic design, video production, 3D animation, content writing, public relations, you name it, social media support, everything under one roof. And that's led into basically what we have today. We have just under 100 employees across all of our box companies, and we do everything, in-house. You're assigned one, customer service rep who's able to oversee your brand across all different types of mediums. And the result is just a clearer, more consistent message and strategy implemented, and less frustration and confusion for the client, right? You don't have to deal with 12 different outsourced vendors to get your marketing done. You've got one group that you can educate, invest your time into, and voila.
Not only that, but one you didn't mention was search engine optimization.
Yeah.
Which is a big one. So I talked about this briefly, and I know we had to get to a break before the break about YouTube, and I had this client that they were doing their YouTube videos under one of their employees because he set everything up.
I see this so much.
And so what happened was they wanted to expand their search engine optimization, their SEO. They wanted to do a more thorough job within the website, on the back end of the websites, which is tagging and meta descriptions. There's a bunch of stuff that is embedded in the SEO of your website. The problem was that whenever I talked to our on-staff SEO person, that they said, well, what about YouTube? Because YouTube, again, is a Google product. YouTube, you're going to get a lot of responsiveness by posting your videos on there. And I said, yeah, they have YouTube, but it's not under them. And she said, well, how exactly are they going to get credit for it? Because I understand that their videos are there, but they're not getting credit for each time they're watched. And the videos were watched thousands of times.
Yeah. No, right, because they put their instructional, their how-to videos.
Correct.
So anytime somebody buys a new product of theirs, they're referred to this video to kind of see how to use the product. And so they have basically just lost, so much ROI on their YouTube program because it's under this individual's account. So you've got to go in, set up an account specifically for the company, named the company name with the web address and all the pertinent information about your company behind that. And that's what will help start building your SEO credibility for your main website.
And they're the top in their industry too.
Yeah, man, it's sad. It's going to take a long time now to transfer all those videos to a corporate account. Because it doesn't happen overnight. That's the other thing too. A lot of clients are like, "Hey, we want to pay for SEO support, and can we see something by the end of the year?" It's like, this takes 3, 4, 5 months sometimes before you can really start getting traction, and then it starts kind of compounding on itself. It'll snowball after a while, but yeah, man, you get behind on it, it's going to take a long time to recover.
This is the difficult position that they're in right now. And this is something that we talked to them about whenever in the beginning of the relationship. And it was something that it wasn't an immediate concern for them. But right now it is a concern. They are the top in their industry, their segment of oil and gas. But with the way that oil and gas is going right now, the product that they offer, well, people are thinking about cutting cost. And for you to be the top brand in this segment of oil and gas, you need people to see you. And again, YouTube is a way to do it. YouTube is a way to really push your website to show that you are setting the bar.
Absolutely.
So,
and and if you title some of those videos that you do, if you title those topics, or the title is things that you think that consumers may be searching for you under, like how to save money in a downturn, right? Or whatever it might be for that oil and gas market, your YouTube video will become relevant and start posting and have a high ranking. So,
and tag them correctly.
Yeah. And that kind of leads to a whole other series of tips. And you can go to brightboxonline.com and check out more. But there's so many little tips to doing social media right. I've got some of them here. We'll kind of talk through these real quick. The first one, which basically is just kind of like marketing 101, is identifying your audience. I think so many times, I was working with a client last week. He started a sunglass company, and he was going after so many different audience members with a very limited budget. He's a new company, a young company, had a small marketing budget, and he was going after every demographic possible, spreading himself so thin, spreading the dollar so thin that he wasn't able to really gain any traction. And so kind of pulled back on the reins a little bit on the marketing program and really had to identify who the target audience is as detailed as we can. Which one do you want to dominate first? Maybe think about it that way, because obviously we have a lot of different people we can go after. But so identifying that target audience is absolutely crucial when it comes to social media as well. Find out what content works. We talked about this a little bit before. Don't just start making posts. I mean, I'm a big fan of like A/B testing. Post something this way, maybe then post it again this way, or post it in the morning, then post it in the afternoon to kind of see what works. But really, there's a better way to kind of do that, and that's monitoring other posts online, right? So you don't necessarily have to do this yourself before you even start actively posting on your professional or on your business page. See what other companies are doing. Take note of the language they're using, the time of day that they're posting. Are there images in there? Are there videos embedded in there? Are they sharing other people's content? I think that's one that a lot of people don't do enough kind of research just to see what's out there. They just start blasting away on every platform they can. And as a result, it's ineffective and they get frustrated and, man, we tried social media. It didn't work. We got nothing out of it. I'm sure you hear that a lot.
I do exactly. And somebody that we talked to not too long ago who is very active on social media, he got it, which is I won't say the name of the client just yet, but he said, I'm putting stuff out there. It doesn't get a lot of likes. But it does get a lot of views. Mm-hmm. So if you're basing it on the amount of likes, that's not the right way to look at it. How much attention are you getting? He's like, I don't care if I get a ton of likes or comments or whatever, as long as people are seeing it, because you're putting out fresh new content all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and really, whether they engage or not, as long as you're, that's one of these here is being consistent. You have to continue to put this stuff out again and again and again so that you become the first to mind for whatever service or product it is that you offer. And the only way to do that is to not be selling all the time. We did a whole segment, I think maybe it was a whole show a while back. You can check that podcast at thehookradio.com about how to do marketing, and it's not selling. Marketing is inspiring other people to engage with you. And you do that by sharing relevant content, sharing tips, sharing, helpful things. And so, be cognizant of that it takes consistency to be effective. We talk about picking the right channel. I think so many people we were talking about, let's just go, however many channels they can. Do the homework, pick one. If you don't have a lot of time, just pick one channel to start with, kind of dominate that, make sure your audience is there, and be fully engaged with it. We talked before about sharing relevant content. I think that's kind of a no-brainer. Make sure that if you can't come up with the content, that's something else too. A lot of clients were like, well, man, we don't have the time to write all these posts. Well, here's the cool thing. You don't have to.
Right?
There's so many other news platforms and websites and publications have different sources to media, articles. It can be as simple as finding an article that you agree with the position, posting a link to it, and giving your opinion about the topic, and sharing that with your audience. That can be a great post. You don't have to write every single content piece that's within your social media platform. Yeah,
don't be afraid to share something that you find interesting or you think is going to really connect with your audience. Yeah. Don't be scared to do that. It's okay to do that, even if it doesn't come from you, because that means the attention is on your pages,
right?
Whatever it might be.
Yeah, the attention and the focus of your page should be on relevant content. Not just yours. It doesn't have to be stuff that you generate. So relevant content in and around the space that you feel your audience would appreciate.
Sometimes you got to give them clickbait.
Clickbait.
Where you just give some kind of tease of what they're going to find once they click onto the website or whatever. You have something up there that entices you to go further. Some of them are not done very well. You'll never believe what happened next once they walked into the airport. It's like, oh, one of these again?
Yeah.
Do something different if you're going to make it clickbait. But yeah, that's basically what you're going for, is to attract attention to where they go to your website. Because again, that's the more activity you're going to have come through and the more eyes you're going to have on your actual website. Yeah.
And that's tough. That basically means you have to schedule out and map out all of your content and what you're going to do for that month. And, that comes to the next tip. Make sure that you're putting your social media into a calendar, right? Every week you should have kind of a group of topics. Like this week we're talking about X. Next week we're talking about, this other dynamic or aspect of our business. So you should have a monthly calendar. It doesn't have to be detailed day to day, but you should at least know week by week what it is you're going to be talking about, so that your posts have a flow to them. They have some common kind of feel to it as you go through there.
Yeah, because with clients, this is what we do for all of our clients that we do the social media for. We give them that calendar. You're able to look at it ahead of time, and whenever you look at it, you say, okay, well, I can see that they're addressing all of these things that are coming up, whether we have a show that's going on in Dusseldorf, which we had one of our clients that he would go to Dusseldorf every year for this piping convention. And so are we addressing that in the social media and what happens afterwards? So you want to plan out everything ahead of time, as much ahead of time as possible, to kind of give some idea.
Yeah, and that really leads into just making sure that you have an overall marketing calendar. All of these things should coincide. Your e-blast should coincide with your social media efforts, which should be coinciding with the posts that are on, or the banners and the visual elements on your website. I mean, there's just so many different things. If you're doing social media, all these things should be consistent week to week. And so having a nice, strong calendar is going to help you stay organized and consistent.
Something I learned a long time ago whenever I was working for Walton & Johnson, and we were on the 950, because we were on the 950, then we went to the Arrow, and then now they're back with the 950. But whenever I was producing them, I figured out, because I didn't have control of social media, and then I gained control because some changes in staff, and I found that the things that I was posting on our website, all I would do is I would redirect our Facebook page to get onto that. So I was having to put together galleries, and it was just weird photo galleries of things that I would think of, whether it was St. Patrick's Day and you had cute St. Patrick's Day girls, and then you'd have one picture up on the Facebook page, and whenever you clicked it, it redirected you right to the website. And we went from about 160 to, I think, we were a top 15, and then we became top 10 in social media and activity on our website within about, I would say, 3 months.
Wow. And what is that? What is that 160 top 10 within the
That's
iHeart channels?
Yes,
okay.
within iHeartRadio.
Nice, yeah.
So in iHeartRadio, I mean, we have a ton of radio stations.
Right,
so we were within the top 10, not the top 10 cities. No, the top 10 of everybody, every website, and all the social media platforms within. And this is just probably about 4 years ago that we were doing this. But we noticed that one little thing by posting one picture and then having that entice people. That was your clickbait to go to the website to see the full gallery. And the galleries were fantastic.
Well, good case study there showing that this stuff works when done consistently, right? We're going to share a couple more tips when we come back.
More of the hook in social media. We'll do some rundowns for you.
Blowing out spring break with your not right friends.
Hey, we're right here in the holiday mix, which means everybody's kicking off. Businesses
Everybody's
just
gone.
aren't active right now.
The roads are clearing up. Parking garages are empty already. Goodness.
School's out, so everybody's happy. And the good thing is that if you have those kind of competitors in your business market, hey, you can capitalize on this time for sure.
Yeah. This is time to get in front of your audience, right? Nobody else is trying to do it. We're here. There's nobody else in this entire station. This is just these two guys.
Exactly. The Hook Radio. You can catch us on thehookradio.com. My name is Josh Reno, along with Jason Arcemont. He is the marketing maverick. We're covering this week social media, an important factor in your business and marketing and your branding that some people just overlook a lot of times, and we don't want you to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's very important how you use these avenues to make your websites get more views. And not only that, to get higher rankings.
Yeah, and to convert people to buy your products, right? To engage with you. That's what it's all about. And I know we're throwing a lot of stuff at you guys today. So if any of this is overwhelming, don't hesitate to go to thehookradio.com, reach out to us, send me an email. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Or if you're ready to hire a firm to take care of this for you, go to brightboxonline.com. They take good care of you, good people there to take care of all your marketing needs. We're talking about social media. We left off with Josh sharing kind of a case study about what he did with one of the iHeartRadio stations. And that
This station.
Well,
the 950.
Right. Okay. And what the secret sauce for you guys, so to speak, was sharing images, right? Was embedding images in your post so that people would kind of that bait tease, right?
Yeah, exactly right. And whenever Kenny got there, like it was me running it for a while, and then Kenny came on. And Kenny is one of those guys that thinks really far outside the box in the videos and the images that he puts up. It was amazing how many people actually came to the website just to find these funny little things that we would just run into on the website.
Well, and that's a great thing we were talking about earlier is that you guys didn't have to create a bunch of new content.
We created nothing.
You're sharing other things that basically other videos, other posts, other images, right? And just embedding that into social media and linking back to your website.
We gathered information from different sources.
Okay.
Put it all together, compiled it, whether it be images or video or even stories. We compiled it
Yeah.
and then gave you one place to find it all.
Yeah, see, I love that, man. I love it. So make sure that great tip, embed images and videos. They go a long way. The next one is manage your time. It is easy to get overwhelmed and consumed in spending a lot of time on social media. Most of these platforms have some type of kind of an automated system that you can pre-populate your posts for the week. I strongly recommend that you guys do that. Get on a platform like Hootsuite or someone that allows you to pull all of these different platforms into one kind of dashboard. Schedule all your posts on one day, and then all you're having to do is just kind of view them and, see if people are engaging or if they have any questions. But do not get sucked into spending hours a day in managing your social media, especially if you're an entrepreneur. You've got better things to do with your time. So be smart about it, manage your time, and don't get bogged down with the social media monster.
And it's what we talked about, too, with making that marketing calendar. The beauty of it is that if on December 1st you have your marketing calendar planned out, you can schedule all of your posts for the whole month.
Yep.
So it takes you, 5 hours?
Yeah.
Maybe from you doing the research, putting together the calendar, and then putting it into your different Hootsuite, is a good one that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Putting it all there, scheduling it out so that you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the month. It
Right.
pops up automatically.
Yep, absolutely. The next one is, for a branding guy like myself, this is really important. I strongly recommend that you guys stay visually consistent with your brand. If you don't have a graphics department within your company, maybe reach out to somebody like Brightbox or find a
we have
freelancer. We do have a whole department at
Yeah.
Brightbox. But even like a freelancer, somebody that can take the images or the things that you're going to share, put them into your own illustrations, your oown visual graphics, so that you're consistent with how you're displaying yourself. Because it is social media, it can be laid back, but keep in mind that you're continuing to want to reinforce your brand image. So that's one thing I see a lot of companies miss out on, is the opportunity to stay visually consistent with their brand. And then the last one here, which is really just tough to do, is be unique. Weird stands out. It gets attention.
Look at Austin.
Look at Austin. Yeah, they're doing great with that. You got to keep in mind that when we talk about social media strategy, even, marketing strategy in general, what we're trying to do is to gain exposure for a company, a product, a person who doesn't naturally gain exposure, right? There's certain people, products, videos that are going to go viral on their own, and they have that natural tendency. The rest of us are trying to manipulate what we do to get that same type of attention. And, being unique, being weird, being strange, having a voice that's unique, character, personality, all of those things will add up to a more successful post, a more successful social media platform.
Look if you think about it in the way of restaurants, like fast food restaurants, look at what KFC has done with the Colonel lately.
Yeah.
Look at what Burger King did with the weird, like the sketchy King.
Yeah. Old Spice. Yeah.
Old Spice has done great.
Yeah.
Also, Chick-fil-A. I mean, that concept of having the cows, that was really creative, and they have gone a long way with that.
Yeah.
So just a little bit outside the box with it.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of times those campaigns like the cows and some of these things that we're talking about, they don't start out, I guess they kind of, from a marketing perspective, they start out with the hopes that they're going to take off and be viral and be something that people like and are drawn to. But really, it's kind of a shot in the dark. You've got to come up with something that your gut's telling you is unique or funny or interesting. Put it out there 3, 4, 5, 6 times. Start getting feedback. See if anybody's hitting on it. If they're not, you're going to have to switch it up. It's a tough game. And the social media thing is really hard to manipulate because it's supposed to be organic. It's supposed to be just as it would be in a direct audience situation. How are people going to respond to your humor? How are they going to respond to the way you talk about it? Are you naturally a good salesperson? All of that's going to come out on your social media.
Should you pay?
Yeah.
That's another great question. Should you ever pay for your posts on social media?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I mean, especially on Facebook, you don't even have a choice now. Nobody's going to see your Facebook posts unless you boost it. And that's a whole other conversation. Maybe we'll do an advertising segment or show one day where we talk about kind of the basics of advertising. If you're not doing any yet, even a couple $100 on social media, on something like Facebook, YouTube, can go a long ways in just building your exposure and your audience, kind of base.
It's a whole lot less expensive than you would think.
Yeah, like I said, a couple $100 can get you a lot more than what you're getting right now, which is probably nothing.
Yeah.
And then the more that you see, the trick will be how do you convert that traffic to get some type of ROI, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to throw money at these things and get a lot of traffic and get a lot of followers or whatever. But then where are the posts that are going to, get the hook? How are you going to capture that audience?
Looking for the hook.
How are you going to capture that audience and convert it back to your site? If you're wanting to get more out of your marketing program, if you're tired of your efforts and dollars and time being kind of feeling wasted, give us a shot over at Brightbox, brightboxonline.com. You can reach our folks there and just tell them where you're at. Tell them where you're frustrated. Tell them what you've got going on. What platforms have you tried? What methods have you tried? I can't guarantee that we're going to have a secret recipe that's going to make something all of a sudden explode, but you will have somebody that you can collaborate with, somebody that's going to be bringing you ideas and fresh perspective week in and week out before you ever even sign a contract. We're more than happy to go through that process with you and collaborate and help invest in your business. I know I've shared that story before, but my passion for doing this came from wanting to help people grow their businesses. I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. I'm passionate about it. This is something we talked about at dinner most nights was, how to help mom's company or dad's or, what grandpa did back when he started his twine company. And so this is something that I've just kind of grown up with. And I've seen effective marketing change people's lives. I've seen their companies grow. I've seen advancements within organizations. Marketing directors become CFOs and become, executive officers within the organization because their ideas and the marketing programs work so well that opportunity came from that. And so we're just extremely passionate about that topic and passionate about helping people grow their business. So I want to encourage you guys, if you're feeling frustrated at all about it, reach out to brightboxonline.com. I always say that success is not reserved for the few, that success is reserved for those who know the formula. And that's what we're trying to do here on the show. We're trying to give you guys a formula, or at least give you a taste of the formula so that you can go and, just better equip yourselves in this world, because money's not cheap, time's not cheap, and at the end of the day, you're wasting both if your marketing's not working.
Good way to kick off 2016, but you can't kick off 2016 on January 1st. You got to set it up in advance.
That's right. Let's start now, guys.
And guess what? We're working through the end of the year. There are going to be some days that you're not able to reach us, Christmas and New Year's probably, but you can pretty much reach us on any other occasion. Just go to thehookradio.com. All our info is there. Sign up for the newsletter and even send us your questions.
Yeah. I think we'll have a next week's show. Well, I guess it'll be the week after. So, get on to thehookradio.com and you get a list of the things that we've got coming up and the people that we're going to have coming on the program.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your year. We're here to help you. Don't forget about that. For Jason Arcemont, I'm Josh Reno on The Hook.